go over. And she said she couldn't get on. Hi, Nicole. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Perfect.
Hey, I don't know what was happening with
Welcome,
that.
guys.
Nobody was on.
That's fine.
I had nobody on.
It showed there was another meeting in progress already.
They're here now.
Okay.
Share.
Yay. All right. Ashley's getting me set up, and now you're recording it again. So you guys missed the best intro ever,
I know. I'm so sad.
and that's okay because we're gonna do a recap for everybody.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why I did that. There you go.
Awesome.
Done.
Yay. Okay.
Woo.
So the people I have in person, you guys okay if I recap, do a quick recap and push reset. Awesome. Thank you guys. So welcome to the final class, sorry for the technical difficulties, of Lead Generation 36-12-3, Living Your Goals. And I'm super excited to teach this, and I'm going to very briefly in about 2 minutes recap what I already covered in the past 5 minutes. So, all right, so we already know the ground rules, and this is basically what we're going to cover. It's all about setting goals. I already shared this with the class once, but Harvard Business Review actually did a study, and you are 40% more likely to achieve your goals just by writing them down. And so if you guys get nothing else from today, in the course materials, as we go through, there's a lot of activities for you guys to participate in. And it's about half of the time on activities, half the time facilitation. So write it down, and you guys are going to leave with something better than what you started with. And we were just talking with Andy about lead gen sources, Sphere tracking, some of the stuff that he has going. So for you guys online, what are your lead generation activities? What are some ahas from those activities that you've done? We're on the last session, so we should have a lot to talk about. And what are some difficulties that you guys are experiencing with those activities? And you guys can just type up in the chat, or you can jump online and talk audio. Either way, we got a small enough group that should be totally fine. So time blocking is what Michael said. So time blocking, which specific lead generation activity does that apply to? Or are you just talking time blocking in general? Working with METs, time blocking, tracking lead gen goals, door knocking, time blocking. Okay, got it. Time blocking for door knocking. Cool. How about anybody else? We've got some other people online as well. Yeah, so we've got Lindy online. We have Sutton, Craig. What are you guys working on, or what have you been working on in these sessions in terms of lead gen, and what kind of ahas and challenges have you guys experienced? Networking. Awesome. Some people call that not working, Craig, so you're gonna have to be more specific. Networking and cold calling. Okay, so when you say networking, are these business owners, are these realtors, are these people in line at the grocery? Like, who are you networking with? Sutton said networking and cold calling as well. Awesome. While we're waiting on that, any other lead gen activities that you guys are doing? Michelle, what are we working on right now?
We're gonna have open houses.
Open houses, okay.
This morning I was doing cold calling.
Cold calling, okay.
Later I'm gonna go door knocking and Sphere.
Sphere, so 4 different sources. Okay, so do you have those 4 ranked in terms of what your return would be, or how you would prioritize those 4?
So far, the door knocking's been really good for me.
Okay.
Because my Sphere is not that large.
Okay.
I have many contacts, but also my contacts, they're not relevant.
Gotcha. So why would you say that your contacts are not relevant?
Well, it's from other business, from other states, because I only live here for 2 years.
Okay. So anybody else have people that are from other states?
I have a lot of people from other states.
Okay. Anybody else online having? Yep. So Craig says, anyone I come in contact with. Good answer. Okay. Can I dig on that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. So why would you say that they wouldn't be valuable because they live in another state?
Because I used to be in a circus and people travel all the time. Most of the people don't care buying a house. They want to be like, just with RVs anywhere.
Okay.
So they're not ready for a commitment to have a house or to have a place to stay on their own.
Do people in that profession stay in that profession for their entire life?
Most of them.
Most of them? Okay. So what percentage would you say, like yourself, get out and do something different?
10%.
10%? Okay. How many people do you know that are in that profession?
Right now, I'm not sure how many people, but I don't know, at least 300, 400.
300 or 400? So what's 10% of 400?
Yeah, I will.
Let's just do the math together. So what's 10% of 400?
40.
40, but
40.
I have a few referrals.
Okay.
I've been talking to them. I have an agent working for them, but I'm not ready.
Okay, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm only highlighting that to say, I understand that you're prioritizing now business over steer business, and those people should still get something from you.
Mhm.
Because I wouldn't make assumptions that they're all gonna be there until
Mhm.
they die, right? And if there ever is a time where they would want to invest or purchase, who are they gonna call?
I spoke with a few owners.
Okay.
Like circus owners, and I'm working with them already.
Okay, so that I love. So targeting the owners,
Mhm.
that way they can be your advocates moving forward. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So referral business is still business, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure that we weren't leaving
Yeah,
that
I
on the
got
table.
some.
Yeah. Because I heard that was a lot of limitation in what you were talking about. I didn't want you to really view your sphere that way.
Yeah, I did what I
Because-
could, but I'm still keeping in touch with them,
Yeah.
especially on Facebook, because it's the easiest way to contact them. So yeah, I'm in touch still.
Good. Just checking.
Mhm.
Awesome. So yeah, Nicole says, I got people in California. Awesome. So I have in the past 3 months sent out 4 referrals. 2 of those referrals had a larger GCI than the majority of the things that I sell here locally, right? Because higher price point area, right? And so don't leave that on the table. I know a lot of you have spheres out of state. That's still business too. And you'd be surprised how appreciative they would be for you to connect them with someone that you trust, right? And there's tools to do that. Awesome. So we have built the house. We're now on the roof. You guys are all the way at the top. And how do you succeed through business planning for a solo agent, right? That's really what we're going to talk about. But this applies to anyone, whether you're a team or a solo. So let's take a look at your page 6. And on page 6, I think it's your page 6, right? It should have this broken down. So someone read this for me. It says ready to go 200 miles per hour. So somebody read that first paragraph for me.
Do you want to close 36 transactions or more a year? As Gary Keller says, you're a Ferrari. Are you ready to go 200 miles per hour, aren't you? You can do it, but wishing for it is not going to tell you exactly what you have to do right away to achieve it. Business planning will.
All right. Somebody else want to read that next paragraph?
Mary Harker, a thriving agent with the Harker 5-star team from Dallas, Texas, makes it simple. If you want to grow if you want your business to grow, she says, you better have a written goal. Business planning is all about goals. You set a goal, monitor your progress toward it, and then stay accountable to it.
All right. Someone read that next one.
The economic model, the lead generation model, the budget model, and the 411 are your guideposts to business planning. With these tools, you can clarify where you want to be, how you're going to get there, how much will it cost, and what you have to be accountable to on the day-to-day basis to make it happen.
And then I'll read the last part there. So do you know where you're going? Get ready to put your foot on the gas. We're planning for your success right now. On KW Connect, view session 1 of the business planning course, 554 minutes for an overview of what a business plan is. We also have some resources through Keller College too locally that you guys can utilize. So if you guys didn't already highlight anything, you should highlight economic model, lead generation model, budget model, and the 411. Now, are there other models other than those four?
Yeah, like profit model and
Not a profit model, but that would still apply to budget model. What's missing?
Systems and tools.
Systems and tools. That's not a model. They are models, but that's not one of the four primary levers. Anybody online want to chime in? What's missing? We have lead gen, economic. We have the budget.
we follow.
That's part of lead gen.
Okay.
So there's actually two more that we're not going to talk about today, and that is the organizational model, which is how you grow an organization and build up. That's your hiring model. That's your people model, right? If you want to shift from being a solo agent to being a team or a mega, that's how you would do that. And then there's the expansion model. And so once you have built up a team, the expansion model is what you do to expand from one market center or one market area to another, right? So we're not going to talk about those today, but you guys should have knowledge on those if it is your intention long-term to build to that level, right? And by the way, it's okay if it's not, but it's also okay if it is, right? It's completely up to you guys. So what's going to make this one good and this training experience good? And I want you guys to shout out, what do you want to get out of today? I know I did this last time I taught with you guys, but what are your expectations for me that you want to make sure we cover today?
I want to hear what your goals are and how you plan to use this yourself.
Okay, so you want to hear my goals?
Yeah, and how you, I mean, because you were teaching this, it would be nice to hear like how you plan to integrate this as well, like, because you're going to give us a realistic model.
Yeah.
And so then that'll give us some way to tie back, even though we don't need to copy what you do, it'll give us a way to tie back and relate back to our own goal
I
setting.
can absolutely do that. So making that real, giving you guys a real world example. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Okay, what else?
Nicole chimed in something on.
Nicole,
Sure.
goal setting parameters. How do you track? So parameters. Love that. We will absolutely talk about that. Thank you. What else? Expectations for today? Well, at least two more. What do you guys want to get out of it?
Always learn something that I don't know, which would be a lot.
Okay.
So, getting a few things would be great.
So getting things that you can take action on.
Mhm.
So action items. What else?
Real world practical use of this information is what?
Real world practical use. Okay, cool. Application. All right. Application. Love it. Okay. One more opportunity for anybody that hasn't chimed in. Keep in mind, this is your opportunity to make sure that you get something personally out of this class outside of what the material is.
Less why, more how.
Less why, more how. We talked about that last time. Less why, more how. Like it. And that is most of this session. So we'll definitely hit that because this is the last one. So we're not going to talk about concepts. We're going to talk about actual application. Awesome. So let's get into the first exercise. This is on 10. And this is your big why. So why do you want to make 36 or more transactions this year? And what does that mean to you? And so you guys can tear this out. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do this activity. For those of you that are online, you can take 10 minutes too. If you already know your why, you can connect it to that. And I'll share mine at the end after we get back so you guys can have some real world application and some of my goals and how my why drives what I do. So. We'll get a little music too.
hold the entire time? You just call your dentist office and then,
Someone connected to this, that's not me, because I'm on Do Not Disturb.
that's funny.
Let's try that again. Okay.
That's wild.
I'll give you guys 2 or 3 more minutes, so. Got yours, Andy?
Yep. I don't do, it's in my head, I know it.
Okay, did you write it down?
Yeah.
40% more likely to get it. Have you worked that backwards?
I just spent the whole last hour doing that.
You mean building out what it would take to get there, is that what you mean by looking at?
Weekly, daily activities to hourly activities.
Hope you guys like my playlist. It's gonna be a lot of this. Kind of sounds like that Mario, like underwater level.
What game you playing?
It does. I haven't heard that in a decade or more.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, like the Mario 64 one. That's what I was thinking of.
The underwater level.
Justin's,
Lanky
Justin's
man.
way too young
Oh,
to,
no,
to
man.
get that.
I got Mario 64. I had the green 64. It was a big Christmas special they did back in 1998 when the 64 came out. And I had that came with Mario. Oh shit, that's Diddy Kong. That's
Yeah. You just lost your validity. All right, let's move on. I don't even know that you were born in 98, so. When were you born? When you were born?
old enough that I remember.
Old enough
playing-
to already have that.
I was
Okay.
playing video games in 1998.
Okay, yeah, all right. Doesn't count if you're in the womb still. All right. All right, so let's hear. So we've got some comments on the chat. So Nicole, Michael chimed in. Thank you guys for participating. Big Y, paying off debts, fund private education for our child, and pay for opportunities and vacations for family, buy more rentals, buy vacation condos. So what numbers do you have associated with all those items? Would be my question. That would be your next step. How many vacations a year? What's your budget per year to go on those vacations? How many rentals? How many vacation condos, right? So just saying more, that's totally attainable, right? Because if you have 0 and you get 1, you achieve your lifetime goal, right? Does it make sense? Live life without money worries. Love that, Craig. What is your financial freedom number, Craig? Do you know your number that you need to not have to worry about it? If you don't, what's the next step to figure out what that number is? We'll assign dollars to those goals. Exactly. So, Craig, do you know what that number is? You don't have to share it if you're not comfortable sharing what that number is, but do you have that number already or what that looks like? Sell more houses, 100K. So what you're talking about is 100,000 a year? 100,000 net per year. Okay, now we're getting closer, right? And how many years is that gonna be active? Meaning you're actively selling in the industry? And how many years is that gonna be passive? Meaning you're either already retired or you're optionally employed. And how many years do you need to have that net after you're no longer working actively in real estate? So if you don't know what that number is, that may be talking to a financial planner, it may be an estate attorney, it may be a CPA, it may be whatever your financial resource is, so you can find out what that number is. You guys getting why that's important? Okay. Let's hear from somebody else. Who else wants to share? Nate?
Mine's the big why is to be happy. And I feel like I am happy, but I want to continue to be happy. I want to travel more, which means at least 3 vacations per year, experience more, live more. I want to have financial security, the ability to work for fun and not need to work.
Okay.
And then I broke that down to that I need a minimum of 33 transactions per year, at least 3 per month.
Okay, love it. So that's intentionality, right? And I know that I'm digging deeper than what the content says. It's just asking, hey, what do you want to make 36 more for this year, right? So I'm digging a whole lot deeper into Craig and Nicole and Andy to make sure that you guys are thinking bigger. But those longer goals are what bring you back to the smaller ones, right? And so, and I told you guys I would share my goals there. So my big why is to inspire others to remove their limiting beliefs and exceed their personal and professional goals. And my vehicle for doing that right now is real estate, and it's real estate coaching, right? The vehicle could change, but the why doesn't. And the real monetary goal behind that is not only do I have to fund my retirement, but I have a 13-year-old boy who has autism, who is doing really, really well. And that's what keeps me up at night, right? Is what happens if my income goes away and he needs support to fund a valuable life after I'm gone, right? So am I going to depend on the state to provide him needs, but not any wants, right? Is that the quality of life that I want my son to live if he does end up needing more support than what I can give if I'm no longer here, right? And so my number for him is I need $2 million in a special needs trust that's set up in a very specific way. I've already consulted with my attorney, right? And I start that at the age that he would actually be eligible to start receiving any state funding, any needs, because they cover needs and not wants, right? So I can actually create a third-party special needs trust that would allow him to use it for his wants. He can't use that for his needs, but it could transition to that if he ever made too much income on his own, to where he would no longer be eligible to receive any kind of support from the government, right? And I also want there to be enough for him to not need any support for the government should he choose to not need it, right? So that's my number, right? And if I back that all the way in, what kind of passive income do I need to get there? Well, I have multiple vehicles. There's actually 3. One is my real estate income and investing that into smart places, right? 2 is profit share, right? So actually growing my downline and continuing to work with other people to share what Keller Williams has done for me so that I can build that passive wealth for him, because that's completely passive, right? And then 3 would be my investment portfolio, right? So actual rental properties, nightly rentals is what my focus is, not the monthly rentals, because they are more passive than a traditional month-by-month rental. Or long lease term rental, because I don't have to worry about as many repairs, and I can pay a higher percentage to a property management company, but it is more truly passive. In fact, I can even have that as part of a trust for my son if I go, right? Does that all make sense to you guys? So that's what I'm talking about as far as the detail. If you don't have that all written down, don't be overwhelmed by it. Your first step is, well, what do I need to know what I need to know to set my goal? Or who do I need to talk to first? And it may just be a spouse or a significant other, right? To say, hey, what do we want? That may be your first step. And if that's your first step, set that appointment, set that time block for a conversation with that person. And then if you already have that conversation, then it's okay. Well, now I need to talk to a financial advisor. Well, maybe my step isn't to just talk to any of them. Maybe my step is to grab coffee with 5 or 10 agents that are further along in their path. And so I can ask them who they trust to do their financial planning, right? Whatever your intention is, you're a lot of steps out, but this is a lifetime goal, right? So start making those small steps now to build toward what you want. Questions about that? Does that make sense? Cool. Let's keep going. All right. So think about what a successful real estate career will do for you. Write your big why, tear it out, post it on your workspace. So you guys have written that down, right? There's a place to tear it off. If you haven't written it down, if you're online or you're looking on a tablet, write this down, tear it off, put your big why right front and center. If you're a more visual, creative person and you like having the visuals, create your vision board. I have a vision board that is laminated. It took me some time just going through it, and I looked at mine that I had made 3 years ago, and on that vision board it said I want to go to Disney 3 times, and I had 3 sets of mouse ears. I had 4 investment properties or flip properties, so it was actually houses that were upside down. I had a dishwasher because I needed a dishwasher at the time, a fence, a back deck. I had 0 debt on there, and I had retirement planning. I had pictures of the local charities that I wanted to be contributing to as a part of that. And I'm not kidding, 90% of that today is already accomplished, right? 90% of that, just because I had the intentionality behind dropping some pictures on a file, laminating it and sticking it on my bathroom mirror and in my office right in front of me, right? So if you guys don't have a visual, again, 40%, write it down. It's even more when you put the visual behind it, right? How do you think I felt every day when I woke up and I didn't feel like making phone calls to my sphere when I looked and saw, okay, 0 debt and Disney is in the plan, right?
And your wife was like, dishwasher, my guy.
You know what? You know who the dishwasher is when the dishwasher doesn't work?
Your son.
This guy.
Oh.
So I wanted that dishwasher. But at the time when I first did that, I was like, I couldn't even imagine being able to like walk in and not put a dishwasher on credit. Because that's just not where I was at. I had a whole bunch of debt. And in the past year, I've paid down $30,000 in debt.
That's awesome.
Most of which I accrued because I didn't know how to run a business when I first started doing real estate, right? And I stopped following all the models, right? So when we get into the budget model, I'll tell you guys more about that, right? But all of these models have equal weight. So what are you guys going to do to put that front and center?
I love the idea of a vision board. I've not done a great job throughout my life of creating a plan or a vision, or, I've just kind of been flying by the seat of my pants. So I like that. I think the intentionality of that, of waking up every morning and looking at that and keeping laser focused on what you need to do to get there.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, how intentional are you? How important is that to make your vision board, and by when?
I will absolutely do it 100%, and I'll give myself a week.
So it's a 10 out of 10, so a week. So a week from today, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so what time on Wednesday?
Noon, what right now on Wednesday, noon.
So, yeah, noon.
Yeah,
So noon on Wednesday. So this is my email.
Okay.
So a week from at noon, Wednesday next week, what happens if I don't have a copy of your vision board in my email?
You're gonna call me out, take my Facebook away.
What's it worth?
I don't know.
You gonna pay me $100?
$100.
You gonna pay me $100?
Something to lose and nothing to gain. Everything to gain.
Yes, I will pay you $100 if I don't have a vision.
So I get
board.
$100 if that vision board is not in my email.
You don't need to shake on it.
Today.
It's recorded. We don't need to shake on it.
Yeah, this is being recorded right now.
Oh, God.
You know what you were signing up for today, did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't. But apparently I'm making a vision board now, so.
And I'll tell you what, if you do it, I'm not gonna give you $100, but I'll buy you lunch and you can tell me all about it.
I would love that.
I've already sent him like 2 vision
I
boards.
will pay for lunch, and then you'll get an hour of my time to talk about what that means. and I can
That
help you
right
go.
there is
Right?
why it will get done.
Okay,
I will appreciate
and if you
that.
don't, you pay me $100.
Yes, I will.
And I'll buy Justin lunch with it.
Perfect. I lose out on lunch and $100.
So Justin's not gonna remind you, okay. So, That's just one example of having intentionality around a goal. If it's important to you, then put something behind it, right? Yes.
Can we require that his vision board be laminated?
Yes.
That way he can't just bust out of here and in 10 minutes draw one up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No, I mean, I truly do want to do it. I mean,
I trust.
I have not been intentional in my life and I'm ready to start becoming intentional.
I trust that once you send it to me, then you'll be laminating it in the office, and Ashley will tell me if you don't.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Hanging on your
mirror.
I like it.
We have a laminator here?
Yeah.
Crap, I didn't know that.
See, Andy already learned something today. It's fantastic. We have a laminator. Awesome. Okay. Nicole has one. So we've got one. We need to update it, and we'll do that by Friday. Love it. Okay. You've got my email. By Friday, when? 5 o'clock? Same rule applies. Nicole, Michael, I will buy you both lunch.
Or free lunch for me. Somebody's gonna drop
Friday
the
at 5
ball.
o'clock.
I'm getting free lunch out of this.
Yeah, somebody's gonna drop the ball. Well, and that's the reality. I can make that bet with 10 people, and I would probably still come out ahead. You know, that's the reality of it, right? All right, so let's actually get into the models. So the first one is the economic model. So are you guys okay if I go digital on this and bring this into the 21st century?
No.
No, you're not okay. All right, so
I'm kidding.
we're gonna go through these slides. This is all in your book. It talks about how this needs to look, but I'm gonna give you guys a real world example. We're gonna see if I can actually get it pulled up. Hopefully she didn't close out all my stuff. Okay. Oh, that's in the way. Can't get to my tabs. All right, so those of you online, is this actually showing? Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
You see the economic model?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So same thing applies. If you guys email me and you want this copy, I can actually send this to you. So you can also find it online. So if you guys really want to put some intentionality around this, you can actually put in your actual numbers, right? So if I want to make, see, Craig said 100,000 a year. If I want to make 100,000 this year, and Craig, what do you know offhand what your expenses are? What you would spend in that same year? We'll wait for that. So we'll say it's 10 unless he tells me otherwise. Let's say it's 10. Which, as a general rule, 5 to 10 is pretty normal. That being said, at scale, especially if you have a team, 30% is more in line with where the budget model is. But again, we'll get into that a little later on. Your cost of sales. So tell me, someone tell me what cost of sale means. What that number represents.
Cost to do business, right?
It's your cost of doing business, right? But that's your cost of doing business as you sell things, right? So it's not a cost unless you actually sell it.
That's per unit, or is it gross?
Yeah, it's a per unit cost is the one I'm gonna put. So why is it 23,000? Want to take a guess?
That come out of the gross?
So what do we pay Keller Williams? Our cap, right? Our cap and our royalties. 20,000 royalties, 3,000 cap. So if you guys are on a team and you have a different structure and you're paying 10, right? So you can still utilize this and put in 10,000. Craig's an individual. Yep, he said cap. You got it. So that means in order to net, and this is pre-taxes, in order to net 100,000, I need to with 10,000 expenses and a $23,000 cap, I need to actually gross 133,000. And if I know based on looking at my multi-year trends, my years prior, if I want to go by the average, that my average commission amount is 6,000, that's based on a $200,000 home at 3%, by the way. And that tells me I need to sell 22.2 houses to actually achieve that $100,000 net. Are you with me so far, Craig? Are these your numbers? Or is your average sales price lower or higher? You can throw that in there, and as we go down, we can always adjust that, right? So, and then here, the reason I like this rather than the old one, because previously the MRA tells you 50% business buy side, 50% sell side.
He says, yes, he went for 24 sales.
Went for 24 sales. Perfect. So yeah, we're right in line, right? So that means I need at 50-50, I need 11 or 12, right? If at 24, so I need 12 listings, 12 buyers if I'm a 50-50 business, right? Now the average of percentage sold and appointments for the MREA are right here. So these are from the Red Book, from the model that's in your material. Why do you guys think I have 90% as a percentage sold conversion rate on listings right now?
Because they're all gonna sell unless you screw something up real bad.
A much higher likely. You think 20% more of the time, it's probably a good rule, right? I never put 100 because there's always a chance for fall through, right? Motivations change. But you can pretty well goal set to the now, right, and adjust this. And this is why your economic model needs to be a living, breathing thing. This isn't something that you set once and then you don't look at until next year when you decide that you didn't accomplish it, right? This is something that you look at regularly, weekly, monthly at the very least, right? What is my economic model? Because in real time, I can look and see, okay, we're through the first quarter. I'm into the second one. I can look for my team, my agents, myself. What's my average sales price this year so far? Am I on track based on what I set for myself, or do I need to adjust? Because you can adjust that in real time and make sure that your activities match it. And then your appointment conversion rate. So 75% of the time I sit down with someone, I'm going to take the listing, right? Now, if your percentage is different, then put in your actual percentage. If you don't know what that is, start tracking your results, right? If this were mine, I would actually be putting in 85, right? Because that's my personal conversion rate on listings, because my lead generation sources are highly sphere, highly referral based, right? When I sit with them, in general, I sign with them, and that 15% is not because I lost a listing to another agent. It's because their motivation wasn't in line with the time frame of the market right now, right? And that's okay, right? But you can put in yours. If your lead gen source is colder and you're up in more competition and you don't have as polished a presentation yet, you might set your goals based on a lower percentage, right? It might be 50%, 60%, whatever you want, right? And then what that does is it tells you how many appointments you need. So if I am just terrible at conversion, I can still make $100 grand a year. I just have to be intentional about how many appointments it's going to take for me to do it. Does that make sense? So, Craig, I know you. I've sold your listings before. We're going to say that you're better than 50%. So we'll say it's more like 75. But you can adjust that if you need to. And then on the buy side of the business, 50% of the buy side, again, you have conversion at the table and then percentage sold. So right now the percentage sold is 70. Is that realistic?
Depends on.
On
how-
buyers?
is The buyers.
On
No.
buyers?
No. I think
So
it's
Justin
less.
says no. Where do you think it's less?
I think it's less because they don't get the house they sit down to buy.
Yeah, it's a competitive market. Not every buyer that says that they're a buyer is really an A buyer in today's market.
They're
right?
not willing to put the skin in the game, but pay over price. They're not willing to negotiate, or they don't have the financial means to, so they get kicked out of the game.
Exactly. So if you guys are experiencing that buyer fatigue, do you think it's realistic to set that sold conversion a little lower, right? So let's say, hey, let's just say half, okay? Well, that doesn't mean I make the buyers that I have more motivated.
Get more buyers.
You know, I mean, because you can't choose someone else's timeline. You can educate, you can consult, you can help them understand where they're at. We could talk about that all day long. You guys have already talked about that in your last class as far as conversion goes, right? And some of the stuff that Brian talked about. But your activities are to set appointments. So if we're at a 70% conversion rate on appointments, and half of the time when they sign, they don't actually end up landing in a house that year, right? Maybe it's a future buyer. Then we need 32 appointments to sell 11 homes on the buy side. Does that feel more natural to what you guys are experiencing right now?
I'm not at 32, but gosh dang it, it feels like I am.
Yeah, how many homes have you sold?
0.
0.
Yeah,
So you
but
need more appointments.
I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of them.
right. And Command does a really good job of this because every stage in the opportunity pipeline has a percentage attached to it. And the further they are in the pipeline, the higher percentage conversion. You can actually see this in real time if you look at your command opportunity pipeline, and it's compared with your probable income versus your possible income. Your probable is based on the conversion percentages, based on where they are in the pipeline. Your possible is if you closed everything in your pipeline, what would your GCI be? Really powerful tool. If you're not putting your people in your pipeline, one, you're losing touch with them. I guarantee you they'll drop off at scale. And two, you don't really get excited about where your pipeline's at, right? So that's where you can see, am I actually on pace for where my financial goal is based on what's in the pipeline?
It's like a Domino's pizza tracker.
It's exactly like a Domino's pizza tracker, but it's not as sexy, you know, because they got that one, like the one that's like the romantic, like, oh, you know, pizza is in the oven. It's ridiculous.
Probable numbers, not bad.
Oh yeah, you're looking at your probable number, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
that's not bad, yeah. And so, you know, you're sitting with your spouse or your kids or whatever, and you're like, hey, mom, dad, can we go to Disney this year? This is, I mean, you can look and say, well, if I do my job and I just follow up with these people, here's my probable income or my possible income. So I can either say yes or nope, I need more appointments, right?
Can you go through and explain again the different categories of like the
Absolutely.
percent of sold conversion versus appointment conversion rate?
So it's the pipeline in reverse, right? So if you actually go from bottom up, your
Okay.
appointment is the first step, which is at the very bottom, right? And so the appointment conversion rate, which on the buy side is 70, that means so 7 out of 10 buyers that I have an appointment with actually sign with me.
Okay.
And then out of those 7 out of 10, 50% of them that sign with me actually close on a house, right? And then you can also do your percentage on the buy side, sell side, right? So for a lot of agents, and I mean a lot of agents right now, this is more like 60 to 70. And this is more like 30 to 40. So look at how that changes, right? So now we went from 20 appointments on the list side to 31 appointments on the buy side. So now I need 44, probably 45 buyer appointments and 10 seller appointments to achieve the same monetary goal. Is it any wonder why we talk about focusing on listings? Right? You can feel that right now, for sure, right? So this kind of give you guys a more real world breakdown of the content. Okay, so if you guys want this, I can send you an Excel copy of this so you can plug in your numbers as many times as you want. You can change it around based on your actual business. So you can find it online. This one's already formatted though, so I'm happy to share this guys with you guys. You just have to shoot me an email and say, hey, send me the MREA economic model. So and I can share that with you.
Is that
Sound
the
good?
shared coaching folder?
It is not, actually, it is not. So shoot me an email. And Seth, you're online, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. So, yeah, if we get any requests from that, this is in my Google Drive, so you can just do a drop down and share that with them. Share a copy of it, not through Google. That way everybody's not editing the same one, if you would.
Okay, got it.
Your own coaching thing?
Awesome. I can, yeah, I can. Or you can just send me an email, I'll send it to you. Okay. Awesome. So we are at 12. We're through the economic model. And let me get back to our presentation. Wait, really, it does not want to let me get back to it. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and take our break. So I'm going to give you guys, it is now 11:59. So let's be back at 12:10. So you guys take 10 minutes, take a bio break, grab a drink, grab some more coffee, grab a snack, whatever you guys need, and we'll come back here in a little bit. All right. Is everybody sufficiently broken? That's the terminology, right? When you take a break, you come back and you're broken?
We were broken way long before the break.
All right. All right, we'll cut the music. All right, everybody online, can you guys hear me? I'll just do a quick audio check, make sure that everything's good. Yes, no? Oh, I got a chat. Woo. Awesome, thank you, Craig. You're the man. Get more listings, I have buyers, I promise. That's what I want you to get out of this class, is for you to get more listings so that we can do another deal together. That'd be great.
That's the only reason you're teaching the classes, so that we can get you more.
Yes, it's all for, yeah, because if I teach you guys how to live your goals and how to get more listings, then I have listings for my buyers, right?
I like it.
Agree how that works?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Craig said he would love it. Yes, likewise. Awesome. All right, so we talked about the economic model. Let's talk about the lead generation model. So you guys have on your page 14 a breakdown of this model, but I also have a different methodology. So there's a printout that I printed for you guys. And it's called My Business Plan Lead Generation Model. So this is just another way to do the same math with intentionality. So either one of these you can use. So for those of you online, if you look up the Business Planning Clinic, so you go to KW Connect, you go to Business Planning Clinic, you can get a participant guide, and this is page, section 9, it's 4.21 is the page number on there. I'm not sure what that translates to in the actual page number, but it's 4.21. You guys can also, if you want a copy of that, and you can't find it, you can also send me an email and just let me know if you want that. I could send you a PDF of that as well. So, all right. So the lead generation model illustrates the relationship between context in your database and transactions. So now that we have our economic model and we know how many appointments we need, this is how we break down and say, okay, what are our activities to lead to that number of appointments that I need, which will lead to the number of closings that I need, right? And so you guys already know this stuff. It's basics. It's the 8x8. It's METs. Who's here when Wes taught about working with METs, right? So you already covered a lot of that stuff. So we're not going to repeat a lot of that, but the ratios are a little bit different in my experience than what's in your material. And again, we're refreshing this. They were working on the MREA2, still are actively working on it. The reason why they haven't really put that out is because a lot of what they found in doing the research is that it's the same model, it's just slightly different numbers, right? And so the METs have actually shifted from a 12-2 to a 14-2. And then haven't METs are more similar now to about 70-1 for a lot of agents that I talk to around our office. There's some that say it's 100-1. Some still get 50. And a lot of this is also subjective based on lead source. So if you're working with a lead generation source and you're not tracking your results, start doing that. And you can do that directly in Command. I can show you guys how to track results in Command too. So if you are at a goal of 100,000 and we need to have a set number of appointments or transactions, so we want 36 transactions. We're gonna go off of 36 transactions because that's what the class is about. If on the 12-2 methodology, it's times 36, so which it would be times 6. So that means you need 162 in the database. So if we were going to do this, someone give me their unit goal, or we can go off of Craig's. Craig's was 24. You guys want to go off of 24?
Let's go with 24. Craig, do the model.
Craig's the model. You didn't know you were here to model today, did you, Craig? Woo! All right, 24 units is what we know Craig is setting for. And so if we're doing this off of 14-2 instead of 12-2, what do we multiply this by?
14.
Times 7, because it's 14-2.
Oh, 2.
So times 7. So 24 times 7 equals what?
Close to 150 something.
Yep. What's the exact number?
168.
168. So Craig needs 168 people in his database. How many do you currently have in your database right now, Craig? And if you can't tell me, I'm gonna assume the number is 0. $250, okay. So Craig currently has 250. So he has a negative gap. Did you close 24 sales in the past 12 months? Nope, okay. So thank you for your transparency, Craig, I appreciate that. So let's dig into why. We talk about these numbers and we'll shift from this and actually get into some of the numbers here. So with those numbers, we've got number of touches, the cost. We talk about a cost per touch, but for Mets, if we need to have a 36 touch, this says 33 in your material. If we need a 36 touch, and 4 of those need to be voice to voice. And this is the model. This is tried and true. Then we need 32 other touches of some other kind, right? So what are some examples that we could do for those other 32 touches?
Letter writing.
Letter writing, thank you cards, right? Anything like that? So you're doing thank you cards. How many cards per year are your people getting?
So I do 5 a day, which is 25 a week. That's 150 a month. But I just ran the numbers on that.
But how many per person?
Oh, per person? I don't know.
Okay, so, and this is why, like Craig, you may not be converting based on your number of database, which you should be. Because if you have a database of 168 and you're not selling 24 units, this is what's going on. Your touch campaigns are not effective enough, or they're not, you're doing the wrong touches, or you're not doing enough of them, right? This is how you turn the model into the actual, right? Is by tracking it. And so we're going to take this through with Craig. So Craig, how many touches does each contact get? Do you do a quarterly call plan with that 250 people? Do they hear from you voice to voice or face to face, one or the other, every 90 days? He has absolutely no plan. Thank you, Craig. I love this. All right. So your first thing that you should focus on is getting voice to voice or face to face every 90 days, right? And just doing that alone, you're going to increase your conversion, right? So voice to voice. And then if you do a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, that's 26 touches. If you want to do it as a monthly, that's 12 touches a year, and you can do either one of these. So these are kind of interchangeable. You can't do both because it's the same thing, right? This is a smart plan that's in command. You could also do text, right? So you can do text, you can do thank you cards, birthday cards. So let's say we do birthday. And then there's one of those. And let's assume we do the monthly because they don't want to hear from us every 2 weeks. So now we're at 4, 12, that's 16. We're at 17 with just the monthly neighborhood nurture, 4 quarterly calls, and 1 birthday.
What about a Christmas card or holiday card?
Christmas card or holiday card. So if, let's just say we're doing 6 holidays.
6 holidays, so you're gonna send them a card for President's Day?
Or it could be multiple touches on the same holiday, right? So maybe you send a card and then you also give them a call.
Okay.
Maybe it's you make a social post or like something on social media for 4th of July, and then you send them a text. By the way, great automated text for 4th of July. Hey, name. By the way, you can use Twilio to automate this, so you don't have to do it. You can do a mass text. Hey, name. It's Brian. What do you have on the grill today? Simple question. What do you have on the grill today?
Who said that? We got that, somebody said that like last week too.
I've said it a lot.
You've been saying that?
I've been saying that a lot, and I learned it from Nick Baldwin.
So what, give a real world example though. You say you have 200 people in your database. You send out a mass text to all of them. Hey, what do you have on the grill today? What are some real world responses that you get from that? I mean, I'm
I
assuming you
get
got
pictures of food. I get, oh man, we're not grilling anything. We're just staying with family. How are you? right? And then I'm gonna engage, I'm like, great. Hope you guys are enjoying the weekend.
They're gonna be
Right.
like, that's funny, my friend Paulina was just asking me the same question.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That is funny though. That is funny.
Like
No,
30 minutes ago, she texted
So do
me.
people think that you want to like, you're like begging for an invite to come over to their grill when you ask that
If
question?
they invite me, I'm gonna go if I can, yeah. Right?
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
If you're concerned about the number of responses, send 20 at a time. And then just watch it. Just watch it light up.
So I'm too cheap to do the Twilio or however you say it thing. But what I do is I just copy and paste and I just change the name.
Yeah.
And I can sit down for 30 minutes and contact all of my past clients, you know. And some of them will reply right away, which gets kind of crazy, but you know, a lot of it will spread out just kind of over the day.
Yeah. So just be intentional.
What are you teaching?
They're lead generation 36-12-3. Living the goals. So we're going through the models. This is the lead generation model.
Awesome.
Talking about 36 touch.
I may sit down,
Yeah. Go for it.
but I gotta get my sorry.
So now we got 6, 7, 12. So 4. What are we up to now? Let's keep at it. Social media. Well, so we got 4, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. We're at 23. So what's our gap?
You should have,
Go ahead and count.
We need 13 more.
you should have some email stuff going on if it's going to do.
So we have 12, yeah. Is it a monthly email, right? We need 13 more. So that could be a monthly email, outside of just a neighborhood nurture, it could be a newsletter, it could be a social post. You guys want real world? I post a minimum of 2 videos online on my business Facebook page, and then I share that out to everybody that I'm connected with on Facebook, which is everybody that's in my database. And I do 2 videos a week. So what's 2 times 50?
100.
100. I have 100 touches a year strictly on social media because I do 2 videos a week.
But I have to say that any one person is not seeing 100 of those videos.
Which is why I'm doing 100 instead of 36.
Right.
And I'm still.
Because you want to actually touch
Yes,
them.
and so I'm still doing the holidays. I'm still sending them a birthday card and some brownies, right? Because I have a card service I use called AM Cards, where I can, they stuff it, they do it. I can write the personalized message and it sends out. I don't even have to go and drop something off in the mail. It's $2 a card, right?
For brownies?
The brownies I had to pay for,
Okay.
but the brownies that's just for people's birthdays.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
$2 and they're getting a package of brownies.
No, $2 is for the card and you can do pictures and stuff. And then I have my quarterly call plan, and I use the DTD2 method. So to do the database too. So I have 2 letters of the alphabet every week that I focus on for calls.
Is that something that you have available that you could send if I emailed you about?
Or you could literally just Google DTD2 and you will find the calendar.
Okay, it's
Right.
D2 what?
D2.
Do the
D2.
database too. Twice.
So Michael said, we have a large number of people unsubscribed to Twilio. Okay. And so if that's your experience, maybe your database that's not the right methodology for you to use, right? And so, and how are you introducing the Twilio would be my question. Are you unsolicited, just texting them something and without actually telling them what the number is going to look like? And we'll wait.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. We didn't quite introduce it properly to them. We just
Right.
started texting them from Nicole Rice or Michael Rice. Hey, how are you? They're like, what's this?
Yeah, so this right here, the quarterly calls, that is a single most important part. If you only do that, then then you're still gonna be better off. And when you do that, by you guys putting in your plan on what your touches are gonna look like for your people, you can, in these conversations, get permission and set the expectation that you're gonna text them from your business line. say, hey, I got a new business line. It just helps me stay on top of things. I can actually check them from my computer. That way I don't miss anything. So the first time I send it to you, it'll give you the little opt-in message, but after that, you can just save this to my phone as to my contact as a work phone, right? And so you make the quarterly call, then you set them on the smart plan that uses Twilio. So you're set up for success and they don't unsubscribe. And then you get their permission. Hey, would it be valuable if I kept you in tune with what the market was doing on a monthly or bi-weekly basis? And just sent you properties that are in the area that you're looking for or the area around your house. Great, yeah, that would be awesome. Well, would you rather receive it every couple of weeks or just once a month? Oh, just once a month is great. Cool. So monthly neighborhood nurture. You're letting them set what that looks like, right? Plan on the monthly in terms of your total contact counts. And if they sign up for the bi-weekly and they're good with every 2 weeks, that's just extra touches.
Tell me the verbiage you use to ask them about getting on that plan again.
So would it be valuable? And I start every conversation with that I'm going to be asking something for with that script. Would it be valuable if X, Y, Z? So if I'm wanting to set them up on Twilio, right? Would it be valuable if I shot you guys a quick text from my work line? That way, if I'm ever away from my phone, you guys still have a way to get in contact with me and I can check in with you on that number as well. Yeah, that'd be great. Cool. I'll send it your way. Then you send the introductory text, they save it in your phone, and then everything else from there just looks like a regular text message from your contact, right? Would it be valuable if I kept you up to date on what the real estate market is doing in your neighborhood? Yeah, that would be awesome. Cool. I can either send that monthly or I can send it every couple of weeks. Which one do you prefer? If you're at an open house, because we're talking about lead generation, you're at an open house, would it be valuable if I came by to take a tour of your home, give you my opinion of value, and talk about your real estate goals?
What about lead gen SOI, Michael Rice?
Lead gen SOI. Okay, cool. So are you talking about scripts to use when you call them, Michael? Like what we talk about on the quarterly call? With Twilio. Gotcha. Same thing, yeah, with Twilio. With SOI lead gen, again, hey, would it be valuable if I shot you a quick text from my work number? That way, if you guys ever need anything, you can get a hold of me there as well. You're setting the expectation. Hey, I'm going to send you a text from a different number. It's me. The first time it'll ask you if you want to subscribe or unsubscribe. Just ignore that and you can save this into your phone, right? So you're setting the expectation. And say, hey, I found this really cool tool that I'm going to use. It's actually it's a work line that allows me to text from my office. Is it okay if I shoot you a quick text? That way you can save that number to your phone, right? So just set the expectation. All right. So we talked about the big business ratio, the number in, the way to add that, additional contacts, the touches. They have 8x8 and 33 touch. 36 is the updated, so 36 rather than 33 is where it's at right now. And most of the teams either double or triple that. If they're in a high prospecting business and they do a lot of volume, most of the ones that you talk to on panels or here in the office, they're doing a minimum of 52, right? To Wes's point, when he taught his class on working with Mets, they forget you every 16 days. Right? So this touch campaign is exactly why Craig is not doing 24 deals with 250 people in his database.
Sorry, Craig.
Sorry, Craig. It means that those people are either in somebody else's database, which is probably true for a portion of them, or they don't know what opportunities are available to them because you're not in constant contact with them so that they know that you're the resource, right? They will literally forget you. They will forget you.
Here's what I think I'm gonna do because I did a god-awful job of working my sphere when I first started. So I think I'm gonna relaunch a sphere campaign. And here's what I think I'm gonna do on my first text. And I just wanna share this with you people in here as well, is that I'm going to send my contact card with all my professional stuff on it, with my photo and everything and all my contact info and just go, hey, I got a new job, blah, blah, blah. I just want to make sure you've got my updated contact info, blah, blah, blah.
Great idea, and it doesn't matter unless you track it and actually hold it accountable for results.
Sure.
So track it, then let me know if it's worth repeating.
And don't say you got a new job, say you've started a new business or a new career or something.
Yeah,
Just
better, something better verbiage, but yeah, just hey, check this out. Make sure you can just save this.
And I did that. I created a contact card in my phone, in the iPhone, with my picture, with my info, with my business email, all that stuff. And then anytime start communicating with someone that has an iPhone, I send them that contact card in hopes that they'll just save it. So like you said, get Twilio, put your Twilio number in there, and then they're all.
Save it as a work
Yeah,
contact.
as a work number or something like that, and it'll automatically be in there. Yeah.
Exactly. So these numbers, it talks about the gap. The gap is 62 to add. Greg is our model. So he doesn't need to add people. He just needs to be more intentional about the people he already has. Right. And so if we go in terms of a cost per lead, this breaks it down in the terms of how many touches it takes and their cost per touch. Right. And so in this example, is it worth, if we can get it to 50 cents as a cost per touch for that number of contacts, is it worth it to spend $2,000 to $10,000 based on what your return will be, right? It could be, right? It could be. So do the math on what you're willing to spend. And this will lead right into, us getting into the budget model. And this keep in mind is just for METs, right? If we're talking about not METs, we're doing 1 in 50 and we still need 24. How many not METs do we need to sell 24 homes at a 1 in 50 ratio?
1,200.
1,200, we need 1,200. So if you're converting it 1 to 50, that's 1,200. The cost per touch really does come into play, right? Or the cost per lead. And for these, do you need 36 touches? No. So this is actually shifted. This is something that's going to be updated from what we have on the slideshow, but this is in the handout that I printed out. It's in the business planning clinic. So it's 19 to connect and 36 to convert. So why is it only 19 touches for people that we haven't already connected with instead of 36?
Run that by me again, sorry.
Why would we only do 19 touches for people that we haven't met versus the 36 touches with people that we have met?
Because you want to get to the point of meeting them.
Right. So why less?
Because I think at some point, if someone hasn't met you and you contact them 50 times, they're going to get sick of getting contacted 50 times.
Well, this is 19 touches per year, every year until you connect,
Oh, okay.
right?
I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay. Well, so 2 reasons. One, you're not worth their time yet, so you can actually get them to unsubscribe if you're too aggressive, right? So you want to be purposeful about the touches. It's not just the quantity, it's the quality as well. And also they haven't earned the right to have that much of your time yet, right? Because if you have to do all of these activities and you have a sphere of already 250 people, then you need to be intentional about where your time is being spent. All right, so let's jump into the budget model. So again, do I have your permission on the budget model to go a more realistic approach? Okay, all right. Any questions, ahas, questions about the lead generation model? You guys have been having that as a focus per source all up to this point, so I didn't want to spend too much time reiterating stuff that already you guys have done deep dives on. Anybody online? Okay. So let's look at the budget model. If I can get this to work. Okay, there we go. All right. So we'll start here and then I'll show you guys how to track this. So this is all on page 18 for you guys. And so you've got salaries at scale, lead generation, 9.2%. Occupancy, that's office rent. Technology, that's CRMs, your monthly agent billing, that $25 a month that goes toward technology, that would be in that category. You got phone, supplies, education, equipment, auto insurance. All your total expenses should be under 30%, right? And the most important of all of those things is lead generation, right? So your lead generation budget should be about 10%. So if you are banking this on making 100,000 and actually having that be a percentage of your GCI, and so if we remember from Craig's example, we needed to make 133,000 to net 100,000. So what's 10% of 133,000?
13 grand.
13 grand. So at that scale, that's permission to spend based on the budget model, $13,000 to generate 133,000 in GCI and net 100,000, right? So you would be perfectly in line with the budget model. And the thing that I didn't really realize until I started implementing the budget model is this is not just about keeping your expenses in check. So anybody not track their budget because they know that they're under what they should be. Cheap.
I just don't track it because I don't track it, but
You don't track, what do you actually spend?
I don't know.
Probably not much, right?
No, you're right. Yeah, not, definitely less than this.
Okay, cool. So if you're not tracking this though, if you're not really tracking this, then you really don't know where you stand. Okay. So if it's less than that, which is most often the case, then that's also permission to spend money and invest it in your business to get a return, right? So are you willing to put in 10%? And you can do this in real time too, on whatever your budget allocation is. And again, I'm going to show you guys a spreadsheet on how to do that. So if we actually go over here, I have the profit first methodology, which we talked about
In class today.
in class today, right? So if we're at 30% of our total expenses, let's say that we're at 30% here, and our taxes are 25. Let's see, we've got 30, 40, 50. We're at 55 out of the gate without even having owner profit. And so then if we're at 5% profit, then that leaves us with what, 100 or 40%? Okay, cool. So this, if we were basing this on Craig's goals, this would be a good general rule for how to follow this. So if we were at, if we were wanting to be at 133,000 GCI, then our total operating expenses should be right around that 40,000 mark. And we've got owner's compensation being about 53. Now keep in mind, the numbers that we were doing on the spreadsheet were pre-tax. This actually factors for after tax, right? So if we look at 53 plus the 33, so we're at 53, 50, 60, 70, 80, so we're at about 85 grand. So, but that's because we've got this profit number in here too, which is about another 7 grand.
What's the separate profit number?
So this can be whatever allocation you want. Most of the time when you're starting this, you're gonna have this at 0 and you're gonna have this up. And also at this level, I don't personally find that if you have a good CPA, you can track it, the 25% is necessary. If you wanna go on what your actual tax liability would be, it should be closer to 20%, which would put this at about 50%. So that's more true to what is typical for the agents that are at that $100,000.
But what
net.
was the profit percentage? What was that calculating for?
So profit, that's intentionally pulling out your profit first whenever you do distributions for your business so that you can build toward whatever your financial goals are, right? If it's retirement, if it's attached to your big why that we talked about, right? Where is that money coming from? Because your living expenses, if that's not already built into your monthly budget, your quality of life doesn't need to change, right? So we need to build that with our profit in mind. Does that make sense? And so what does this look like at scale? If I'm at 250,000 in GCI, right? So now I'm paying 50,000 in taxes. I've got a business that costs $75,000 to run at 30% profit margin. I'm making 125 total after taxes, right? And then at that point, maybe I don't need to make 125 to pay myself. Maybe I want to keep my my monthly amount that I need per year the same, right? So what I do, I pay myself the same amount every month regardless. I'm on a $5,000 salary per month. And so twice a month, I'll do these allocations, and whatever amount I have in my income account, let's say it's 30 grand, right? Then I'm gonna have my allocation set aside, and I'm actually at 39% because I have salaries played in, right? And my OpEx is out of where I need to be. I'm about 40%, right, higher than what I wanted. My tax is 20, and then I have profit at 1%. So these are my actual allocations that I use for my business based on what my results have been in the past. And so rather than just looking at it on the annual, twice a month, I'm doing this. And so if I know that I need 5,000 per month and I've grossed 30,000, well, I'm adding to my owner's compensation account 2 months plus a little bit of reserve to what I need on a monthly basis, right? And so I've earned 2 months of my need in 1 month, right? So this is how you can adjust over time, because I'm always looking, and I don't want any more than 6 months in reserve, and I don't want any less than 3 in my owner's compensation account. So I'm always 90 days away from being out of business.
And so this is an account where all the money's coming into a business account and you're separating it out immediately, but you're not actually putting it in your personal account until the, like 5,000 a month.
Correct.
Until the month comes. So you may already have enough for several months, but you don't have May's compensation yet in your actual personal account. It's held in the business account in order to move it
Correct.
when you're ready to move it. Yeah.
Correct. And so I had this conversation with my team, one of my teammates, he's got 18 months of reserve because he has a really low need. And he's had a couple of good months, right? That's a problem. Because what do you think happens to his production? It goes down, right? He's like, oh, I'm good. I can not work, right? So how do we readjust that? Well, we readjust the allocations. We take less in owner profit and we invest more in either operating expenses. We spend more on lead generation. We spend more on networking. We spend more on our business, or we put more to profit and we put that excess into investments that you're building for your future big why. And we keep ourselves tight on what we need on a monthly basis. Because if you have any more than 6 months, your production will slow down. I guarantee you. So we're manufacturing this urgency for our business by making sure that our numbers are in alignment with what our long-term goals are. Does that make sense? So this is the budget model in work for me. This is how it works for me. So I can translate the hypothetical, the why into the how.
Never let too much monetary fat hang off of your body.
Exactly.
Go store it where it'll grow, or reuse it for something that'll grow you.
Exactly.
Keep your money active.
So I'm going to show you guys something too, because I believe in accountability. I'm going to be really vulnerable with you guys.
Oh, we're about to see your social security number.
Nope.
Let me get my phone camera ready.
I'm actually going to show you guys my P&L. So you can see in real time what this looks like for a business at scale, a mid-sized business, not a huge one. I'm not a mega, but a mid-sized business. Are you guys okay with that? Is that valuable? You guys want a practical application, right? I'll be vulnerable. I'm going to show you my everything, all my bank accounts, what I spend money on, what I don't spend money on. It's going to be a lot of fun, right? I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Yeah. All right. So let's go to reports. And let's take a look at our profit and loss percentage of total income. And then let's take it year to date. Okay, so that's year to date. And these are not actualized yet. So we're actually, to give a more accurate picture, just going to run the first quarter.
How hard is this to set up?
Not hard. You can have a CPA do it. You can have a bookkeeper do it, or you can do it yourself.
And which option did you do? to set yours up?
So I have my, my admin actually do the bookkeeping, and then I have my CPA, manage the chart of accounts and do all of the actual in-game stuff. So, at a high level, I was at a wealth building, seminar, for Keller Williams at a family reunion. And they talked about the 4 key people that you need in your world in terms of your financials. They were really adamant about saying that the bookkeeper and the CPA are 2 different people.
Yes.
Because the CPA is your high level and your bookkeeper is in the weeds, and they don't need to be the same person, right? So your CPA, you talk quarterly, or you do business consultation. Your bookkeeper, you meet with weekly, so that they can actually keep you accountable to what you're doing on a weekly basis,
Is
right?
that CES for you, or is that your VA that you keep?
It's CES.
CES.
It's CES that does that, yeah.
And
And
so
so-
the bookkeeper could be yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be. So in here, you can say I have different streams of income. So you can see my percentage of income broken down by the year. 31% of my income comes from my real estate team. 42% actually comes from my personal closing. So clients that I'm actively working with. I've got another 3 or 4% coming from profit share, which is all passive. I've got some referrals in there in terms of referral income, because we track that separately. And then I have my coaching income, which is about 15% of what I bring in right now based on coaching. This is the productivity coaching program and what they have closed, right? So if we actually look at all of that broken down, we can see our total income by source. And then I can actually break all of these expenses down by category: advertising and marketing. Here's my agent billing, charitable donations, any referrals that I pay out, meals and entertainment, anything office supplies related, payroll, salary, prescriptions, travel, which is a family reunion. So if I break this down, I can see my real time percentage allocation and where I'm at. And so right now, what's my net operating income?
52%.
52%, right? That's pre-tax, right? So if I take 20% off of that, where does that leave me?
32.
32%, right? So if I were to redo my allocations, right, I was previously withholding 39. I'm actually withholding too much based on where my business is. So I'm going to redo my allocations and make sure that matches the actual. When I do quarterly taxes or annual taxes, either one, I'm going to adjust my tax allocation accordingly to be in line with my business.
But I think that if you take, you're only needing to pay taxes on your income after the expenses, because you're gonna be able to deduct those expenses. It's not actually gonna drop your net income by 20%, I don't think, right?
It's not, yeah, right. This doesn't factor in write-offs, right? This is all, and so, but if I'm setting based on my actuals now, am I aiming high or low if I'm not accounting for write-offs?
Right.
I'm aiming high, which is good, because that means I'll actually at the end of the year probably end up with more than what I need in my tax account.
Right.
Which is a good thing, right? Is a good thing. And guys, this took me 4 or 5 years to figure out. Like the first 3 years was a mess. I accrued debt. I spent the government's money. I just didn't do all the things that you're supposed to do to run a business. I knew how to sell real estate and I had no idea what I was doing running a business, right? And so it took me about another year after that with intentionality around paying a financial coach to get me to the point where I'm at now, paying $600 a month just for someone to coach me on financials so that I could build this up. And now I'm at a point where I can actually say in real time, my business is profitable. I know where I stand. I know what I spend my money on. And I can know, okay, I mean, what's for the quarter? I spend 7.9% on marketing. I don't give enough charitable contributions. It's really embarrassing that I'm sharing that with you guys, right? But I'm not. So I could probably reallocate that. If that's a goal of mine, I need to shift it, right?
What about the dogwood ranching?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, most of that stuff comes out towards the end of the year, right? Not on a monthly basis. Office supplies, high payroll expenses are there, right? I'm below 10%. The budget model says 12%. I'm a little bit below model, right? Which is good. If I look at my travel, that's a huge portion of it. But I spend more on marketing than I do on anything else. So when I'm in a listing appointment and I tell my clients, hey, I spend more on marketing than I do on anything else, is that a lie? Absolutely not, right? I have the P&L to prove it, right? I enjoy marketing. My job is to market your listing. This is what we do, right? And I have everything to back it up.
What plan of QuickBooks are you using? Do you know?
This is just the QuickBooks Online. It's $25 a month. if you coordinate with a CPA, a lot of times they'll give you a discount. My CPA actually has me register this account through them and I get a slight discount on it too. And then they also are a user on this, so they can see it in real time. So I don't have to send all of that paperwork to them. My bookkeeper keeps me in line. And between myself and my bookkeeper doing all of this stuff, when it comes time for taxes, guess what? They already have what they need because they already have access to QuickBooks. I'm done, right? I'm done. I just show up and write them a check from the account that I already have set money aside in. And then anything in excess there can go straight to my profit account. So that can go towards investments, vacations, my life by design, whatever.
Well, you're paying taxes quarterly though, I assume, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So every quarter I'm reallocating these, right? And changing my percentages to be in real time. So again, like any of these models, they all are important. They all happen at the same time and they're all living, breathing things. You really have to be in tune with them. And if you're not working with this level of intentionality, there's an opportunity for you to focus on one of those models, right? Did this give you guys more of the how and less of the why?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
This is, thank you for being willing to share
Yeah.
all that.
I mean, this is transparent. You guys can, you don't even have to ask me, you know what I made so far the quarter, right?
Can we get some of this in coaching too? Can you like even in your coaching hours, can you help me set
Yep.
some of this stuff up?
Yep, I can, absolutely. Set time with me. All right, or anytime during coaching hours. Great. So let's go back to our slideshow. Now that I've showed everybody my P&L.
Oh, boy.
And if you guys don't have someone holding you accountable to the budget model, every dollar you spend is a dollar that you have to then re-earn, right? If the purpose of business, running a business is profit, then why would you solely look at the top-down report to see who has the most in sales instead of looking at your individual P&L and whether or not it's in line with your goals for your family, right?
That's right.
There's a bold law around that. Don't compare your insides with somebody else's outsides,
That's right.
right? And another one, what you focus on expands. If you focus on profitability for your business, what expands? Profitability for your business, right? So this is the journey that I've been on, and it was not where I started, and yet here I am. I can sell the same amount and make more money, or I can sell more and make exponentially more money, right? Because it all comes back to, why am I in business? It's not to get an award. It's to make profit so that I can make money for my family and set myself up for what I want for my retirement to look like. Again, bringing it back to my why, I've got a $2 million trust to build, right? And I don't have an infinite number of years on this earth to do it. And my son depends on me every day to get up and lead generate, to get appointments, to get what I need to get, right? It's important. So I'll step off my soapbox. All right. So I promised you guys that we would get through everything. That's all of our models, except the organizational model, right? So this one we're not going to talk about today, but I do recommend you guys look at this, right? Because if your plan long-term is impacted by having others on board with you, right? Or building out a team, that's the model you should be looking at. We have some great resources here. If you don't have a coach, hire a coach. If you haven't already sat down with Mike or Tim, sit down with Mike or Tim, right? They can help you build out that plan as far as an org chart. There's also a ton of classes that are surrounding that. So your organizational model is something that you absolutely have to get through. But it's just one aspect of all the aspects that we talk about, all those models. So let's get it all together. And we're going to talk about a 411 and then we'll wrap up for the day. So 411, this is your one tool, and I have printed copies for those of you that are here. You can also go to 411, you can find an online 411 that you can find just by searching 411 tool, right? I think it's actually like my411.com. Is that right?
I think that's right.
Yes, yeah. So there's a digital one that you guys can actually work through in real time. This is it. I mean, this is the single most important document in your real estate career. It doesn't have to be this exact document, but it has to be something like it. This is how you hold yourself accountable to what you do on a daily basis. So it's one goal, 1 month, 4 weeks. And what am I doing each week, right? And so when we're filling this out, the number one mistake that I see people make is they fill it all out, right? Your weeks 2, 3, and 4 are going to be impacted by what you accomplish on week 1. So anything that you have set a goal on, remember, 40% of the time you write it down, you're more likely to achieve it. If you've written it down, if you deemed it important enough to write down, and you don't accomplish it in that first week, then that's what dictates what's there in your second week, right? You don't change your goal, you change your activities, right? You just have to continually adjust. And I want to talk a little bit about accountability, finding accountability partners. So I'll share a story with you guys. When I first started in the industry, there was not as much availability for coaching. At that point in time, I came in a time where there wasn't a productivity coach that was active, right? When I was actually really ramping up my business. And so I actually had 2 accountability partners. I don't know if any of them are online, but it's Steve Chilson and Dina Ankrum. They're both still here in our office. We all went through real estate school around the same time. We went through Ignite together. And we held each other accountable by meeting once a week. And with the 3 of us, we went through our 411s. We met once a week. We had intention around our goals. And out of all the people that I went through school with, there are 3 of us that are still active in the real estate industry. And it's all 3 of us that built that accountability group.
In
Nobody,
Springfield?
yeah, I mean, for that class, so to speak, right? Because we all went to school together, and there was about 30 people that all got their license at the same time. We're the only 3 that are still here. So all of these tools are really good, and if you don't have someone holding you accountable to them, it doesn't matter, right? And there's not much more that I need to say on that. I think we all know accountability is important. It's one of our 6 personal perspectives that we talk about, but have someone hold you accountable. Even if it's not someone that's in the office, if you want it to be a spouse, a friend, anyone, someone that's at a different industry, it could be a mortgage lender that has goals, and you could be meeting once a week to build each other's business up, and you're holding each other accountable. It doesn't even matter if they understand everything that you're doing. They just have to ask you questions to make sure that you're doing it. Does that make sense? So find someone to hold you accountable and build out a plan. So measuring, we talked about tracking. And we're, again, got a lot of things to go through. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
We have
So
3 minutes.
we have 3 minutes. So tracking, I'm going to show you guys one quick tool for tracking. Again, bringing this into the practical, right? Command actually has the ability to do tracking. So if we do agent.kw.com, I'm going to show you guys a real way to actually track your business. No one try and guess my password. Unless you're gonna do all the follow-up and not take any deals from me, and then go for it. All right. So if you scroll on command, there's, and your dashboard may look different, but at the bottom there, oh, where did it go? Activity. We gotta find it. Switch to my team account. There it is. So team activity. It's going to look different for the individual, but you can actually run a report. If you want to submit your activity, you can also do this on Command Mobile. You can go into Command, hit submit, and it will ask you a questionnaire. The date. How was your day? Did you have a good day, right? Happy or sad? Awesome. You can even track your mood on this, right? How many hours did you spend finding new clients today? How many did you talk to? What did you do to find them? So you're tracking your sources, right? Is everyone you spoke with captured in the database? Yes or no, right? So how good am I at actually tracking and making sure people are there? How many appointments did I set for buyers and sellers? And how many appointments did I actually attend? How many agreements did I sign? How many contracts did I write? And how many closings did I have? And then any other comments you want to make for your rainmaker if you're on a team, or you can make notes for yourself. This is already built into CRM that you should be in every single day. You're already paying for it through your agent billing and through paying your CAT. Right? So why would you not utilize it, right? So you got a lot of you guys talked about tracking. We talked about application real world, how to actually track these activities. This is it. This is it. It's really simple. You just have to set the intentionality around doing this. You can even set up a reminder. I can for my team too, to send out at a certain time, a push notification to the mobile app. Then you go into command and you fill it out in real time on your phone. So set yourself up for success to start tracking your results. And then you can start changing that economic model that I'm going to send you guys as soon as you send me an email, right? To what's my actual percentages of conversion? How many appointments do I actually need to have before they sign with me? How many people that sign with me actually do close a house, right? So you start tracking this stuff in real time. There's a reporting system in Command that allows you to see all of that stuff, and it'll show you if you're on pace for your goals or not. And you can compare that with your opportunities pipeline we talked about that shows your probable income versus your possible income. And just to kind of tie a bow on that, I'll show you guys that as well. So if we go into the opportunity pipeline right now, this is for my team. I can see in real time. Oh, it's not zeros. I know it's not zeros. Something didn't load in there. Oh, that's why I'm on that old one. There we go. Okay. So GCI for listings, we have a potential GCI of 11,500, probable of 8,000. It's because it's all based on where they are in the pipeline. We've got the pipeline here for the buy side. 100,000 GCI just sitting there if we choose to capture all of it, and we are likely to capture at least half of it just based on where they are in the pipeline and being intentional around where our pipeline is, where people are, to make sure no one gets left out, and everything is in line with what you're doing on a daily basis for activities, right? That's lead follow-up. That's a practical way to make sure that you're doing the lead follow-up that's required to make sure that you're getting to your goals. So we're at 101. I want to hear a couple of ahas. I apologize. We're right here. If you guys need to jump off, you totally can. I just want to hear one or two takeaways, either online or here in person, from what you guys learned today and what you can actually put into practice. It's the last one of this series, so I want to hear some stuff. Yeah.
So mine is the fact that you're 40% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down, which I've never done. And I love your idea about creating a vision board, and now I have accountability to do that. And I think that when I do it, it will be impactful for my career.
Yeah. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate you sharing and being open to being held accountable. Thank you.
Craig said, love that you shared your real world stuff. Craig, I say thank you for being vulnerable and sharing how much you want to make and letting Brian cook you.
Yes, thank you, Craig. I appreciate that. Yeah. You don't really get to where you want to go unless you have a willingness to be vulnerable, right? What else? Other takeaways?
Accountability.
Accountability.
Yes.
Yeah. Find your accountability partners, right? Find your accountability partners.
I say self-awareness, writing down what my numbers are, because I don't know how good I can be or how to improve if I don't know where I stand. And so being financially unaware, going to get a CPA, setting up QuickBooks, because after all, this is a business.
Yeah.
And knowing where I am, and it doesn't matter where I am now, just as long as I'm headed in the right direction and moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's it. This class has opened that up to me, and it's motivating. It's motivating to realize that you lack in an area and to want to improve it.
Well, and that's why we're all here, right? And I'll give you guys one last tip on that too. Real estate's a contact sport. It's all about relationships, correct? So I've sold properties for my CPA. I've sold properties for my financial coach, right? I find, so these things that we're talking about implementing for your business, it's all connection, which means they should all be in your database, and that's lead generation, right? So find someone that you connect with, that you can grow with, and they'll be an advocate for you in your business. Does that make sense? So don't look at it as time away from lead generation. Still do your 3 hours, right? Still do your time block. And then those appointments are also additional connections that you can make that you can add to your database. And it's the same thing. Hey, you provided so much value to me for my financial future. Would it be valuable to you if I kept you up to date on where your asset is, which is the largest asset you own, which is your home? What do you think they're going to say? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. You're already paying them or you're providing business to them. So awesome. Thank you guys for taking the time today. I know we got a bit of a late start with some technology, so I don't want to take any more time from you. I shared my goals, some of how that applies to me, parameters on how to track. We talked about some action items and applying everything to the real world. Less why, more how I feel like we accomplished the expectations for the class, which I feel good about. And so if you guys would do me the honor, you can go to kwueval.com. You'll actually choose your lead generation class for the instructor. You'll go all the way down to the bottom and it's the instructor not enlist, because I'm not yet a certified instructor. But you guys can still fill out a survey for me if you guys feel led to do so. I'd also love feedback after the class. If you guys ever want to grab coffee, just let me know. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for online, tuning in and chatting. That's helpful. Make it a great week. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Nathan, for free lunch and whoever else,
Hey,
Craig.
you ain't getting lunch on me,
Thank
boy.
you, Craig.